Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Monday night. It's amazing to see everyone. If you are listening to this on the replay, again, welcome. My name is Laura Betts. We do these every Monday at 6, and I cover a wide range of topics on how we help you get your life back with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And tonight, I want to talk about a very, very commonly overlooked root cause of mold. Down here in South Florida, we work with many, many cases of people that were exposed to mold either through their job, are living in mold because of challenges in their home. In some cases, they didn't even know the mold was there. And it's very common. It's also in our food. We can breathe it. We can be exposed to it through our skin. I've done some cases where the root cause of their joint pain was skin contact. They were cleaning and scrubbing and they weren't wearing proper gloves. So I want to talk about a little bit about that. Again, mold is a very, very common overlooked root cause. The problem isn't exactly the mold. The problem is the mycotoxins that it caused. So again, welcome, welcome. Tonight's topic, we're doing mold exposure. We're going to talk about mycotoxins, complex cases, healing with HBOT and QNT here at HyperbaricsRx. Mold cases are very challenging cases. And among advanced practitioners like myself, and people that essentially have experience working with these, when there is a mold component that's brought into the case is much, much more complex. And it adds a whole other factor because of how disruptive these mycotoxins can be. There are, so for example, someone who has Lyme disease, completely different thing than someone who has Lyme with mold. And very often the problem, the reason why the person can't get better, so we'll get cases of chronic fatigue and multiple sclerosis and lupus and various different immune disorder diagnoses, mast cell activation. And interestingly enough, the whole reason why the immune system isn't recovering is because of the mycotoxins. And once you address the mycotoxins, which isn't exactly straightforward, and it does need a personalized approach, I'm going to talk about that, they're able to get moving forward in their health naturally. Again, it is a very overlooked root cause. It's one of the most commonly overlooked root causes, and when in fact it's very likely that it was present. Now, we did cover, let's see, last week we did telehealth, hyperbaric consulting, and quantum nutrition testing. So if you check that out under the replay section on our videos, again, we do work with people all over the world. So yes, it is hard to do hyperbaric oxygen therapy in our chambers if you're not physically in our building. But just because you're not local to us doesn't mean we can't help you. I have worked on international cases, and I'm going to tell you about an amazing case where essentially the root cause was mold, and that was causing the cardiac disruption. So I'll give you some good info there. Again, we do these every Monday, and we have a pretty big index of videos that we've listed. And some of our older videos, Facebook changed, they're only storing 30 days of videos now. So we had quite a selection up there. And we've moved all of our videos. They are archived on YouTube. Generally, they're only on Facebook for about 30 days now, per the change in their policy. So if you're looking for an older video, you want to share it, you want to review it, you want to take advantage of the information in it, our videos have moved to YouTube, and you can find them under HyperbaricsRx. That is the name of our channel. Again, for those of you that are meeting me for the first time, I am founder and facility director of HyperbaricsRx. And if you want to hear my personal hyperbaric healing story, I've done a video on that. The abridged version is I'm a world record holding mixed gas commercial diver, teaching diving, active mixed gas diving instructor. I ended up with a tumor in my right breast. The tumor was large, very aggressive, came out of nowhere, larger than a golf ball. And after about 80 hyperbaric sessions, a tumor was gone evidentiary on ultrasound and mammogram. And not everybody is a world record holding mixed gas diver. Not everybody has access to hyperbaric equipment the way I did as a consequence of being a advanced working diver. And if it hadn't been for my access to hyperbaric oxygen therapy, I wouldn't be here telling you this story. And it's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about HBOT. It's part of the reason why I'm also so frustrated with bad HBOT, because my miracle was a dosage dependent miracle. And if I was not treating with the right amount of oxygen, if I didn't have enough of it, if I didn't do enough of it, I wouldn't be here to talk about it. So this is part of the reason why I founded HyperbaricsRx, making access, and we are a private concierge hyperbaric facility, and we are located here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But again, we do telehealth all over the world. So we do something called quantum nutrition testing. I've talked about that in other videos. We also use state-of-the-art diagnostics, including DNA analysis and a variety of diagnostic panels, and we can really drill down to why you're not feeling better, and more importantly, get you moving forward in your health naturally without adding more problems. Targeted nutrition, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, when done properly, it's only a positive. It only helps and supports the body. There's no negative here. So pretty significant in what we offer. So again, welcome, welcome, and it's great to see everybody. Again, I'm founder and facility director of HyperbaricsRx here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we are about 25 years. 2025 is our 25th year in practice. So we are very experienced, and we really look forward to being able to keep you moving forward in your health naturally. I'm also sit on a couple of medical boards. I'm a member of the Diving and Medical Board for ANDI International. I'm also Vice President of Substance Abuse Programming and Protocol Integration for the International Hyperbaric Medical Foundation. So again, thank you so much for joining me this evening. And again, for those of you that are watching this on the replay, welcome. It's amazing to meet you, and we really look forward to helping you improve your health. Okay, so let me get into, again, our topic tonight. So let's talk a little bit about mold. Let's talk a little bit about mycotoxins. Now, I mentioned that it's often missed. And symptoms can include digestive issues, so chronic digestive issues, respiratory issues, chronic nasal drip, um, difficulty breathing. And a lot of times this will come up with they'll run every test under the sun. They'll run stool samples when it's a GI, all kinds of diagnostics, all kinds of scoping. And yep, you're great. Everything's great. Labs look great. Meanwhile, this person is dealing with debilitating digestive issues every day, often when they eat, and it's really just not great living inside the body when we've got mold and mycotoxins. A lot of fatigue, it can cause brain fog, and the mycotoxins themselves. So the problem isn't the mold. The problem is really the mycotoxins. So they come from mold. It's not really the mold itself. It's the poisonous substances that these produce. So the mold produces mycotoxins. It's a byproduct of their growth, and a lot of times it comes up as part of their life cycle. And again, part of the reason why it's missed, and there can be a delayed reaction. So interestingly enough, I did take a course in quantum nutrition testing for pets. Now, I don't really work with pet cases. I happen to be a pet mama, and I was really looking for it just for some information for my own animals and to keep them healthy. And not 2 weeks after I take the course, I'm working with one of my cases, and they're telling me about the cat won't stay in the house. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So I go ahead and I grab my cue sheet for the animal. And sure enough, we do a scan, and the animal is testing out on mold. And it was really fascinating because it would make a lot of sense that the animal, being so much smaller, would be reactive to the mold. And sure enough, they ended up finding there was a leak, and it was behind the wall. They had an incredible amount of mold and water damage behind the wall. They were living with it, and it showed on mold tests, which that in itself is means it's pretty heavy, because a lot of times the mold testing isn't accurate, or for one reason or another they're not able to get the diagnostic. There can be some nuances. So just because we've done a mold test and we've got a normal level, it doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't mold. It may, in fact, not be showing on the test, because there are limitations to how some of these tests are done, and different companies use different testing methods. Now, another big issue is that mycotoxins interfere with hormones. So, a lot of hormone disruption, a lot of PCOS, PMS, a lot of general reproductive challenges. Very often, there's an underlying root cause of a mold component, again, especially down here in South Florida. If you've ever been in a water damaged home, many of the commercial buildings have ancillary water damage. I can tell you, here at HyperbaricsRx, we work very, very hard to keep the environment clean for our clients. We had somebody post a review the other day that was talking about how clean our place is, and we really appreciate that, because we go out of our way to keep it as a great environment. And the problem here with this is the exposure on this. Once the mycotoxins get in, it causes some dysfunction in the body. It causes, among other things, drainage dysfunction. And I've talked in some other videos about drainage dysfunction and drainage pathways. And basically, the body has a process for how it gets toxins, waste. These are things that we breathe. These are things that toxins and things we eat, toxins and things we breathe, toxins that come in contact with our skin. These toxins can be in our food, and our body has a process. Our body also makes toxins. So leftover cellular waste, it needs to get out of the body, because otherwise it is toxic, and it can be very problematic on an awful lot of levels. So the body has a process to how it gets rid of this, and it moves from the organs and tissues into the lymphatic system, and ultimately it moves into the liver and bile ducts and out through the colon and wasting mechanisms. But what happens when the body becomes overwhelmed? Some of these guys are pretty persistent. They're tough critters, and once they're in, it's hard for them to come out without some targeted assistance. If you think about these guys, think about trailer, and you need the right size trailer hitch to grab onto that trailer and tow it away. And you can think about toxins in the same way, and mycotoxins are really specifically like that. Now, okay, so who cares about some mold exposure? What's the big deal? Well, some of these mycotoxins are highly carcinogenic. That means they cause cancer. Some of these mycotoxins damage organs like liver and kidneys. And unfortunately, by the time there's organ damage, by the time there's cancer, now we've got a really big project. And in some cases, well, spontaneous healing and miraculous recovery is always possible. The more and more the natural balancing and regenerative mechanisms of the body have been compromised, the harder and harder it is for it to recover. So we really want to handle this a little earlier on. Now, mycotoxins themselves, again, they can come from exposure. A lot of people get them from where they work. They're very common in schools. I have a lot of kids that are going through detox programs with us. They started having behavioral, sleep, and focus issues, and turns out they're in moldy classrooms. And their smaller body weight is going to be more susceptible to that, perhaps. So the adults, the teachers, the teaching aides, they might not be exhibiting symptoms where we have the little ones and they're showing it up right away. So, it's a big issue, broad range of symptoms. We use a couple of different ways to find it. One of the things that we work with is actually running a mycotoxin panel. So we live in a very toxic world. We have an awful lot of exposure, and we run a mycotoxin panel for 29. It tests for 29 different mycotoxins, and some of the fancy names of these are like aflatoxin M1. There are other ones that are less well known. And these satratoxins and aflatoxins and fumosinicis, these are not good for us to have exposure to. And again, because they compromise the drainage pathways, we end up with drainage dysfunction, and it makes it even harder for our body to clear toxins. And we end up with these systemic issues and overloaded drainage pathways causing other problems and other challenges. And again, this is very, very commonly missed, but it'll show on reflex with quantum nutrition testing, and it will show on a total tox panel. And again, it's one of the tools that we use. So if you think you've been exposed to mold, you want to give us a call. If you think that the symptoms that you're dealing with may be related to mold, you want to give us a call. There is so often now, I am so frustrated with it's in their head. Oh, you need psychiatric. So they run a blood test, and if the blood test comes back normal, then all of these symptoms that the person's experience, oh, well, we don't know. Okay, nothing you can do about it. No, if you don't feel well, there's a reason. And we work with complex cases all the time, and we're not afraid of them. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work. And one of the things we're going to do is take the time to listen to your full history. We want to hear about where you live. We want to hear about where you work. We're going to take a full history as a part of our comprehensive consult. We're going to do a non-invasive organ and gland scan to see what you reflex on. And if it's appropriate, then maybe we do run a total tox panel and see where your mycotoxin levels are. While we're at it, maybe we should check your heavy metals and your environmental chemicals as well. In a lot of cases, the chronic condition, the problem is not being caused by the pathogen. It's actually the toxins that are damaging the immune system, damaging the mitochondria, and opening the door for that. So in addition to discount dive packages with hyperbaric oxygen therapy, we offer programs to support your health naturally. And again, if you're frustrated in your health, if you're not sure what's going on, hyperbaric oxygen therapy goes everywhere except for very dense bone. So it can repair the neurological injury from the mycotoxins. It can bring down the inflammation. It can support the mitochondria. It can shut down the inflammatory cycle. At the same time, we use a personalized combination of targeted detox in order to get you moving in your health in the right direction. And again, once we have a mold component in, hyperbaric is amazing, but we also need to get the mold out. We need to do that in a way that's specific to your body based on the priority of your body. And that's one of the reasons why quantum nutrition testing is such a compliment. Here at HyperbaricsRx, we pioneered foundational hyperbaric medicine. So we're the first in the world to combine hyperbaric oxygen therapy with quantum nutrition testing in order to improve outcomes. And boy, do we. One of the first cases that I worked on when we brought quantum nutrition testing in was a little girl, and it came our way from a ANDI facility that was already doing hyperbarics, and they were reaching out to talk about a hyperbaric protocol to complement what was going on with this little girl's heart. And essentially, she couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without doubling over. She had a massive increase in ventricle resistance, and they were advocating a heart transplant. And the family reached out to me, and using quantum nutrition testing, I was able to get information that there was a mold component here. Now, understand, I didn't expect them to just take my word for it on the other side of the world. So again, that was a tool that led us in the right direction to determine the root cause. And then we ran a formal mycotoxin panel. And sure enough, mycotoxins were very, very high mold exposure. And sure enough, the genetic variant that they were saying was the reason why this heart defect was happening, turns out it was not genetic, it was epigenetic, meaning that the environmental factors were causing the change. And as we cleared and detoxed the mycotoxins, this little girl that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without doubling over and grabbing her heart, well, she's running and biking at full speed and climbing up flights of stairs at tourist attractions with her family and scuba diving. She has full quality of life. And again, the root cause in this case was not a genetic defect, it was mold exposure. So I am absolutely thrilled to be able to work on cases like that. I have a lot of experience working with that. We've got a lot of experience here at HyperbaricsRx, and we would love to help you. So I hope I gave you some information and some heads up on that mold is really not just in your head. It could actually be in your head if you've been struggling with symptoms. If you have a mold test, if you've been living in mold, you want to reach out to us. So even if you haven't had symptoms or you're just dealing, oh, it's just not too bad. This is just my normal headache. This is just my normal explosive diarrhea. Oh, I just throw up a few times a month. Please reach out to us. Let us help you. We're going to put together a personalized program combining hyperbaric oxygen therapy and targeted detoxification. And we're going to bring you the best, by the way. And what do I mean by the best? So I just got back from Quantum Leap 2025. It is the only holistic conference of its kind in the world. I was a speaker at the conference, and I was honored to share the stage with some of the most incredible natural health practitioners. They are passionate and dedicated, and boy, do they get results. And one of the reasons why I do this is not just to share information, but receive information. So this is an example of one of the new products that we are bringing in. This is cutting edge. And one of the issues with a lot of supplements is the formulas change. And we had this experience here at our facility with one of our go-to products, and we're just not seeing the results with that product anymore. And sure enough, the company was bought out by a essentially big food. And what happens in those cases is they start cutting corners and they start reducing the materials or changing sources. And this was what happened in this case. And this go-to product isn't working well anymore. And it's another reason why you want to be working with our group, because I'm not satisfied with just an okay supplement. I want the best supplements. I want the best supplements for our clients. I want the latest in research, the latest in manufacturing, the most current materials, the best formulations. And again, this is an example. This is Total Tox Binder, and this is by Aegis Formulas. It is a brand new product that we're bringing into our facility, and it is an example of a toxin binder. So this is one of the tools we use to help get the mold, to help get the toxins out of your body. Again, I mentioned we've got trailer and like trailer hitch. So we need the right binder. We need the right methodology, right approach to get this out of your body and get you draining, get that mitochondria happy, and get you moving in your health in the right direction. And we're going to use hyperbaric oxygen therapy to stabilize your symptoms, to bring down the inflammation, and again, just get you feeling better. So again, your next steps here, reach out to our facility. Our number is right there on the screen, whether you are local here in South Florida or you're listening to this from someplace all around the world. We do telehealth. The case of little girl that I'm telling you about is actually from Denmark. So again, we're really happy to help, and we look forward to helping you move together in your right direction. So it's tired of suffering. You don't need to suffer anymore. If you've been thinking about it for a while, if you're hearing this video, this is it. This is the sign that you've been looking for to stop suffering, stop the symptoms, get rid of the brain fog, get rid of the fatigue, start feeling good. Let us help you get your health back naturally. We do personalized programs. There's no cookie cutter here. No two customers, no two clients, no two patients are on the same program. We need to find out not just the underlying root cause, but we need to find out the order that your body wants to approach it in. The body heals in layers, and what is priority is going to be different from one person to the next. And again, this is another amazing thing about quantum nutrition testing. I have talked a little bit about my personal story with quantum nutrition testing. Just like hyperbarics, it saved my life, and I believe in it, and I'd love to help you. So next step, call the number, schedule a comprehensive consult. We'll get you the forms. It's a two-part appointment. The first appointment, we're going to take about 45 minutes doing a full case history. We want where we've been. We're looking for underlying root causes. It's very detailed. My intake paperwork, it's about 40 pages for an intake here at HyperbaricsRx, and it's worth it. On the other side of that appointment, it's a 2-appointment consult, not one, not 15 minutes. It's an extensive, it takes about 2 hours for just the appointment time, not including the time behind the scenes that we're reviewing your information and determining what we need to do to help get you moving in the right direction. On the second appointment, we're going to give you a written report of findings. So we're going to tell you everything that we found, and we're going to tell you how we're going to fix it, what's the plan, and we're going to tell you all of the costs. What are you waiting for? So reach out. The office number is 954-749-9998. You can also send us a message through one of our channels on social media or send us an email. My name is Laura Betts. I thank you so much for joining me this evening. Again, we do these every Monday. If you're looking for an archive video, again, our videos have moved to our Facebook page. So you want to, they've moved to our YouTube page. So you want to go ahead and check them out. That's where you're going to find our archive. Our YouTube page is HyperbaricsRx. And again, I thank you so much for joining me this evening. Reminder, we do these every Monday. Last little point on this, October, November, we're doing our harvest raffle. We do this every year, and you can do tasks to get raffle tickets. And one of the ways to get raffle tickets is to watch a Facebook Live. You get 2 raffle tickets for our Facebook Live. So check out our harvest raffle posting. It's really awesome. We do it every year, and it's a really great fun activity here, and great to win some fun prizes, some products, some services. And one of the things that we're giving away is our comprehensive consult. So you want to go ahead and enter that raffle. And if you've been listening to our Facebook Live, you want to make sure that you let the office know so that they go ahead and give you your 2 raffle tickets. All right, everybody. Again, my name's Laura Betts. It's amazing to see everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 6 o'clock. And check out our archive videos on the replay. Safe and happy diving. Have a great night.